Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and we are back with another new season, a brand new season, season 2 of the Umbrella Academy. It's been quite some time, and my memory's still a bit hazy. I was attempting to rewatch season 1, and I didn't make it all the way through. I think much like everyone else, I was actually expecting it, well, at least up until 2 weeks ago when the trailer actually dropped, I was expecting there to be some delay because of the pandemic. But I am glad, I think, like most people, that this has not been pushed back because I have run out of things to actually watch. But yeah, season 2 is finally here, and last time where we left off from season 1, at the very at the very last episode, we had all the members of the academy. Number 5 using his abilities to transport them back in time, in hopes that they can prevent the apocalypse from happening. We discovered, of course, that Vanya was actually the cause of the end of the world. There's still a lot of questions. There were still a lot of unanswered questions, and to be honest, from watching the trailer for season 2, I'm wondering whether we will actually get any answers this season. What I was expecting to happen in season 2 was, there'd actually be kids in this season. But judging by the trailer, that does not appear to be the case. So I'm curious to know what happens. The my theory still remains as is. I think, if I remember correctly, from my review of the last season, that I'm still betting on the fact that Reginald Hargreaves is some alien being. His home planet was destroyed, very likely as a result of the same thing that is now happening on Earth. Um, his wife passed off, and I believe those firefly things that she released into the atmosphere, or he released into the atmosphere after she passed, um, are somehow connected to those kids with abilities that he has adopted. And I think, I believe he was attempting to obtain 42 of them, and he only got 7. Um, but my assumption would be that he knew that this would happen again on whatever world that these firefly objects inhabit, and whatever children were born as a result of that. And he knew that one of those children would lead to the end of the world. He just didn't know which one, so he attempted to adopt all of them, and only got 7. And from that point, he studied every single one of them, trying to determine which one would actually be the one to end the world. That theory could be wrong. I have nothing to support it whatsoever. So, but I'm sticking to it. That's my theory that I'm sticking to. I'm very excited for the new season to see number 5, who is my absolute favorite. The actor seems to have grown a bit, but for the most part, everyone else pretty much looks the same. Vanya, I have a lot of hopes for Vanya this season, because for the most part in season 1, Vanya was always, she was always sort of the tragic sibling, always trudging through, because she just kept bad things kept happening to her, and she essentially found out that her entire life, her family has been lying to her and withholding information from her, and her father treated her horribly. So I am hoping to see this season a different side to Vanya, one where, and I'm not even sure we'll get that, because if they're going to the past as adults and not kids, then I don't know how that works. Will she still have her abilities? Will she be able to control her abilities at this point? And I noticed that in the trailer release for this season, they didn't show very much of her. So I'm quite curious to know what Vanya in this setting will be like. I hope that her relationship with the siblings have improved now. Now that things are out in the open now, and I want to say a departure from season 1 as far as the relationship is concerned. Klaus, of course, one of the biggest revelations in season 1, him learning to accept and master his abilities. Not master, I still think he has quite a bit to go, but he's sober. So I want to see what sober Klaus looks like. all the characters who have grown over the past season. I want to see what that what they are like in this new second life that they've been given, because they dodged the end of the world. You know, it's they've been given a second chance, so I want to see what they've done with it. So that's enough ranting. Season 2, let's check it out.
That was...
Yeah, they got split up. Everyone went somewhere else. Well, he did say he's never done it before. He's never transported other people with him. God, he's gotta sound crazy.
Get over here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Look. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty my type, but I have to see him from the shoulders down. You idiot. Oh, yeah. February 11th, 1960?
60s.
1960.
That's a... They went back too far.
Shit.
Yeah. You guys went back way too far. Is this the same donut shop? Oh, wow. 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 Whites only. It is the 60s. 1962. So they all ended up... Who the hell is taking the photos? So they all got sent to a different year. Somewhere in the 60s. They should still be able to find each other. You know, except whoever is like in 1960. Except Klaus. He has to wait a year to meet the other person. But won't he run into older 5 though? Because 5 was there, right? He was supposed to stop who was going to carry out the assassination, or was he the one that was supposed to do it? Yeah, he's gotten a bit taller. 63. He did bring Hazel with him as well, right? Okay. Guess that answers my question. She still has her powers. And they're all there. Ouch. Then, still dead. Tentacles look a lot better now though than they did in season 1. Whoa. He bent the bullets.
Those are nukes, old timer.
Alright, nukes. But Jaeger just bent bullets.
You can't save him if you're dead.
Well, then it again. Okay, so who sends Hazel back?
Okay. What the hell was that?
The end
Okay.
of the world, November 25th, 1963.
63.
Going back, change
Dallas,
thing?
same street, 10 days earlier. Plenty of time to restore the timeline and save them.
So where do we start?
Why is Hazel
Wait,
old?
you're on your own, pal. I'm just here to keep a promise, Dag.
20 years. But they took Hazel back with them. Surprised they're not hunting you still. These guys do not look friendly at all.
Those guys.
Run!
Ah, damn. God damn it. Got some information, I guess. Why is it the bad guys always have pale white hair? Just thinking back to Stranger Things. Someone's been watching them. Someone's been taking photos of every single one of them
What do you want?
who came back.
Hi, I'm selling encyclopedias for my youth group. I was curious if...
You know something?
You ever heard of Area 51, Roswell?
He thinks he's an alien.
Damn! Contraptions on the roof. You built those, right?
Okay. Yeah, sure did. Yeah, I've been tracking anomalies in the atmosphere. Just waiting.
Waiting for what?
For you. For all of you.
Yeah, you saw he was the guy taking photos of every single one of them as they came through, as they entered the timeline.
Anyone? Come on, who's next?
I mean, I would have guessed Klaus would be here.
Diego.
Not Diego.
Been awfully quiet this morning.
Just taking it off.
How is it that he's not able to break out of this place, though? I mean, given all the skills that he has, I don't see them being able to keep him here. And perhaps there's no non-violent way to do it, and he doesn't want to kill anyone.
Fine.
Hey, Diego.
Found him.
You look good in white.
About time you showed up.
How'd you know I'd be back?
Because that's the kind of shit you pull.
It's not his fault, really.
The boys in my room. Another day or two and I'll be out of this place. Then I'm gonna stop Oswald, save the president.
Still trying to be a hero, I guess.
Listen to me very closely, you chicken moron. You are not going to do a goddamn thing.
Why not?
Because we have to stop the apocalypse.
Come on, you guys didn't believe him the first time, alright? Listen. Yeah, and it led to the end of the world.
Okay. I'll help you.
Thank God.
After I save Kennedy. And then you swing us back a few decades.
Why is he so obsessed with this?
With a butter knife.
My brother is plotting an escape. The bars of his room have been shaved down.
No, right!
Look, this is for your own good, Diego.
No, fine!
Listen, my brother is a very sick...
I want you out, Diego, but I kind of agree. I'm with 5 on this one. It's just gonna screw things up. I have no idea why he's. I don't know. The hero complex that he has, I guess he just wants to prove that he can do it.
Almost got the son of a bitch.
Carl, watch your language around Harlan.
Are you kidding, honey? If that boy says son of a bitch, I will buy him a BB gun. Hell, he says any damn thing, everybody gets a Cadillac. You get any calls yet? I put another missing persons ad in the paper. Figure someone must be searching for you.
Maybe I'm just not the kind of girl you miss. I doubt that very much. I'm sure we'd miss you already.
You just have Ben cheat for him.
If you keep undressing me with your eyes, I'm gonna catch cold.
Watch your mouth. Stupid's falling out.
He's bluffing, by the way. He's got
Or Ben tries to get revenge to screw him over and lie.
Let's see it. Full house. Kings over sevens.
Oh, well, that's not nothing.
Showtime, Ben. What in the hell?
No, I'm good. You're so independent. Go fight your own battles.
You think you could pick a better time to self-actualize?
Kinda deserved that one, Klaus. Come on, Luther. How can you be losing this? How? You have super strength. That's one of my gripes with Season 1 and Luther, because his powers haven't been consistent so far. No, or maybe he's just pretending to throw the fight. Yeah. Rigged. Gotta make money somehow.
Bring the car around. Attaboy.
It's working his muscle.
There's no room for error here. There is no room for images on the TV of violence, aggression, or even disrespect. No matter what they do to us, we have one rule. Honor and dignity at all times.
Sorry. We only cut women's hair here. Black women's hair.
Funny then that your husband's inside.
It's your husband.
Can I help you?
Mind telling me what you're doing here after hours? I own a building across the way, a few others nearby. A lot of things quiet.
And I repeat, what business is it of
But
yours?
you don't own this building. Now do you?
Not yet.
Well, I'm gonna ask you to step off the property.
Did you just deliberately shut this door on my foot, boy? That's assault.
That's not helping. You have no idea. I mean, she could just use her powers to make him forget, but it doesn't appear as though she's using it very often.
Him first.
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna be a bit too progressive for this timeline, assuming that their intention is to be, you know, poor Diego. Diego, dude, just relax. The drugs aren't even fully out of his system and he's still going. Up, it's the milkman.
I'll wait for milk, don't you think?
Not that late. How'd they find Diego? Unless they followed 5, I guess.
Hargreaves, how you doing out here?
Sleepwalking.
I thought the milkmen were gonna get him first. She's insane. I hope this helps him to focus on what's important.
Which way?
Right.
Why right?
Why not?
Okay, so she has no idea where she's going. I hope Luther has found himself someone because Allison has moved on.
Still waiting for the big tippers to show up?
Who's a halfway bothering Mr. Ruby?
No idea. I'm more worried about the kid.
What kid?
By the stage, I told him we don't allow minors.
Oh, yeah? What did he say?
He asked what time I was getting off work.
Thought you'd be happier to see him. We could get out of there. Although, I mean, timeline that they came from is destroyed, so they can't go back. I suppose.
A year, thanks to you.
I'm sorry, Luther. I know that couldn't have been easy.
I thought everybody was dead.
I guess they're not in the same place because if he arrived a year ago, Klaus would already have been there and Allison as well, but in a different
So
location.
you're not alone. We have to find the others because the world ends again in 10 days. I have no idea how to stop it.
Come on, guys. You didn't work together well last time.
I
You
don't
need to
give a
do
shit.
it now. God damn it. Alright, episode 1, season 2 of the Umbrella Academy. And Luther is already pissing me off. Look, I don't think anyone ended season 1 with a favorable opinion of Luther. You know, he made a lot of bad decisions in season 1. But here he is again. I mean, no one believed 5 when he came back and said the world was ending the first time around. I was hoping for a bit more of them working together this season. I guess to be fair, it's a bit more understandable here than it was in season 1. I mean, they've been stuck in this timeline for the better part of a year each, and it's got to be tough to, you know, as he pointed out, you know, he thought everyone was dead, and you know, so he just resolved to live out his life here, and that's all he had. But that still doesn't negate 5 showing up and him just completely disregarding 5 being here. I mean, I would think that presents an opportunity to either fix what happened or take them to a different timeline, you know, where they have, you know, a better options, you know. Of course, Allison having it worse here because of the timeline here, and of course, people of color don't have certain rights in the 60s. So, I guess in a way she would care more than Luther does, but I don't want it to be a situation where, oh, okay, I don't care. Okay, Luther, Allison's in trouble. Where is she? All right, I'm on board. I want him to grow on his own. I mean, that was his main challenge back in season 1. He was just being, you know, his father's son and just carrying out his duties that were given to him. But when are we gonna get to the point where Luther acts like the leader he's supposed to be? I don't think anyone left season 2 believing that he should be the leader, but after Hargreaves put him in charge, I would have thought it would have been for a reason. And I don't know. I've not read the comics, so even though they're ranked, you know, 1 to 7, I see the powers in reverse, because number 7 is arguably the most powerful, and Luther's again arguably the least powerful of the 7. So I don't see him being the leader. So I don't think the number should dictate who's the leader, really. And Vanya is or was not, you know, in control in season 1, so I wouldn't put her as the leader. So somebody needs to bring the team together, and 5 seems to be the one who's best capable of doing that. Man. We know that Klaus landed first. He arrived in 1960. So he's I mean, he would understandably be the most, you know, the most upset and, you know, have the I don't give a shit attitude because he's been stuck there the longest. But he seems to have made do, and I don't know, his powers maybe gave him more of an advantage than everyone else, as you can clearly see, assuming Ben feels like helping him out. But we did see 5 arrived in 1965 initially, and at that point in time, everyone had their powers. They were working together, which I'm assuming means at some point he manages to bring them all together. But the world ended then, but then he moved to 1963, and he brought the destruction back with him. So is 5 the one? I don't know. Is 5 there's been this question lingering in the back of my mind where 5 is concerned. Mere fact that we still do not know his name to this point, and his ability to travel through time, leads me to believe that he's connected to the commission in some way. Maybe not this 5 that we're following now, but one version of him. You know, I still think that perhaps some version of 5 created the commission and built the technology to actually travel through time, and he, you know, he's the one who's actually trying to maintain the timelines. But this 5 being who he isn't going down the same road. So I don't know, I think 5 still plays a major part as far as the commission is concerned. Just a bit unclear as to why the end of the world keeps moving with different individuals, because Vanya was there, well, she was there when it ended in 1965, so I suppose she could have been the cause again. but it was a result of a nuclear explosion. So she wasn't the direct cause. So the world ends, and I mean, it begs the question now: does the world end because these 6 or 7 actually exist, and that's what's triggering the end of the world? And that would come back to my theory earlier on about Dr. Hargreaves' wife and those things that she released into the atmosphere and the connection to the children being born. But the end of the world is definitely linked to Dr. Hargreaves and his wife somehow. It's linked to the kids somehow. So either their mere presence on Earth is triggering the end of the world in one way or another, or I don't know. I mean, Vanya seems to have found a nice family who've sort of adopted her, taken her in, and it seemed like nice individuals, Carl, maybe, I don't know, maybe things aren't going as well. Maybe the deal fell through, which is why he ended up at a strip club. Or perhaps his wife was right, and as she said, eventually, sometimes men move on and women are left to fend for themselves, basically. This is the 60s after all. Not to suggest that the timeline should make a difference, but yeah. Women's rights weren't, at the top of anyone's mind at that point in time. At least it's not as progressive as it should have been. So I don't know. Everyone seems to be a bit down now. I don't know. Five has to figure out some way to get them to come back together. I think we can figure that Luther will get back on board if if Allison gets back on board, I guess, or if his father comes back into the picture, Dr. Hargreaves. But they are so far, they're in the 60s now, which means this is before Dr. Hargreaves even adopted them. But it's very possible that he is around in this time frame. The very first time that we met him, when he, I'm assuming, came to Earth. I could be wrong, but when we first met him, I believe I don't think we got a timeline when he first arrived, but judging by the buildings and the outfits and all that, the harbor or train or whatever that he got off of, it's safe to say that it couldn't have been in the 60s. So he could be around at this time. So we can probably get Luther on board. Diego, his hero complex, I don't know. He wants to be the hero, wants to save the president, but he's not focusing. He spent all that time in, I mean, it's an insane asylum, but in therapy, for lack of a better word. Talking about his dad, and the guy was right to some extent. Is that who are you exactly? Stop trying to be your father's son and figure out who Diego is supposed to be. The tough call. I do have a question about Hazel though, because we did see Hazel travel back with them. He wasn't in the ring with the others, but he did vanish just before the end of the Earth in season 1. So I'm not sure. They didn't show when he arrived in the 60s. Although he said he's been with the waitress for 20 odd years, I don't remember if she jumped back in time with them as well when the world ended in season 1. I guess that's a possibility. Otherwise, I guess maybe he found her in the 60s. No, she wouldn't be alive then. That's a tricky one. My guess would be that she actually went back with him and I guess lived for another 20 years. How old was Agnes? Probably in her 60s. It's possible. But I'm glad that he got a happy ending. I'm not glad that he died already. And perhaps it's just this. Maybe we'll come across maybe we'll meet him in a different timeline. But I didn't want Hazel to die that quickly. So hopefully we see him again. But the first episode, it's been fun. I'm catching up with the characters, seeing what they've been up to, where they've been. Still a lot of growth left. I want them to get to those characters that we saw in 1965, where their powers have developed, but they're actually working together. their sibling rivalry needs to take a back seat to everything that's happening now. After what they've seen in season 1, the world is going to end. Get your shit together, guys. I'm happy. In that same scene in 1965, though, Diego bent bullets, and he was no. I mean, we've only seen him bend objects that he has thrown himself, and in that scene, he was shot at, and he bent the bullets and killed the guys firing the gun. So it's just interesting to see his ability expand. I have seen where people have said his abilities differed somewhat from what it was in the comics. I don't know what exactly his abilities were, what his abilities are in the comics, but no, my mind is wondering now whether his abilities actually telekinesis, but he's been limiting himself by only focusing on objects that he possesses. And if that is the case, then he might have moved up the list in terms of the most powerful, I guess, depending on how far they actually take it. But if he can control other things, not just projectiles, that would be amazing. And Klaus, of course, summoning several different souls, fantastic. The other is pretty much the same from what we know of them. Vanya at least was controlling herself, was controlling her abilities there, so that was good to see. Luther, of course, was just the same pretty much, and Allison, of course. Although Allison's ability is a bit more passive, it's dangerous in and of itself. On its own, is very dangerous. But yeah, I'm eager to see them get to that point where they're working together, they're working as a team, stop the end of the world, complete mastery of their abilities, or as close as you can get. That's what I want to see. So can't wait for the next episode, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.